been done, silent meditation, roll call, all that's been done. Approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion for the approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Hold on,
What do you need? What do you need?
I still have to roll call. This is a completely different meeting. I still have to-
Okay.
Okay. You're starting, Okay. Chair Lightfoot Ward,
Here?
Vice Chair Martin,
Present.
Member Urbom,
Present.
also present for the record, Janice Jacoby, Village Clerk, Cristia Lu, Village Manager, and Mayor Nickerson, and Councilperson Perella.
With everybody being present, thank y'all for staying this, we're doing really good on time, y'all. But I don't expect to belabor the point. This is public affairs. It talks about the tracking report. However, we need to understand something. I just got appointed to this committee, and I've already protested until I recognize that I need to behave for a minute. So I'm gonna behave for a minute, all right? In terms of public affairs, and they're always only talking about the tracking report. The tracking report, to me, should not be. That's the first thing. I'm the new chair. That's the first thing. The only thing we need to be tracking right now is the Little River cleanup, the 4th of July event, the league's dinner, and the seniors luncheon.
Madam
All
Chair,
the-
if I
yes.
may, very quickly, the League of Cities was moved out of public affairs a while ago, so that's
All
that
right.
old tracking report, you could cross that off.
All right, let's cross that off.
Thank you
Then
very
now,
much.
now it leads three things. You said, Doc, why are we doing this? First of all, public affairs has not been run the way public affairs is supposed to be run. Since I was a lobbyist and part of my whole mission was public affairs, we bring things to improve, correct, or get rid of. The events that we've had in the city and the village has been wonderful for the years that no one knew about public affairs. But now that I'm chair, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, for putting that on me, because I fought it tooth and nail, although I know it's my background. I know this. But I want it to be a real public affairs. And that public affairs, those three items that I just named off, I'm thinking should be a part of the Women's Club, and they should be financed during the budget hearing like we always do. Whatever they say is necessary, then let them do that. The Women's Club, I've been told, they want a women's and men or men's club too. I said, well, the men's got to get together. Otherwise, we stop calling it a women's club because we do have men that participate. So it should be the men and women, and that should not be a big deal. That should simply be something that we want to do. Those three events are very important. We've already been acknowledged as one of the councils that show up for the Little River cleanup. We already know that the 4th of July is everybody's celebration of our country being free. We also understand that the seniors luncheon is because that's one group in this village that has often been overlooked for a long time. But it's always been a hallmark of this village. I moved in here, there were more people older than 40 years old, and I was just turning 40. I'll be turning 70 this year. So I appreciate the Women's Club, I really do. And the fact that they are the backbone of what keeps these kinds of activities nearest to the public. So that's the only thing I ever want to do with the Women's Club, period. I don't even want it on this agenda. I want it to be a part of the standard so that they don't have to worry about funding or any of that other stuff, that we do those things for benefit of the village. As it relates to public affairs, however, I need to make a statement. The statement is one that I've thought about, because I certainly did. Mayor, you can either second me or you can just deny it. I said no, not doing this. But then I had to think about it. Y'all know I'm a minister. I got to think about stuff all the time. So I had to regroup myself. What is public affairs, and why is it important? It's a way to share your economic impact with legislators. I'll give you an example, Walmart. Not my favorite, but I'll give you that example. Engage your stakeholders, something that Coca-Cola did years ago. They engaged their stakeholders. I even had stock in Coca-Cola because they did. I don't have it anymore. Integrate grassroots advocacy with public affairs, such as Veterans for American Ideals, Of course, I'm gonna go there. I'm an American veteran. But what is public affairs, Doc? Public affairs is a term used to describe an organization's relationship with stakeholders. That's our village. These are individuals or groups with an interest in the organization's affairs, such as politicians, civil servants, customers and local communities, clients, shareholders, trade associations, all these people that come in here sometime into this village, and they look up people like the village clerk. Not the clerk, they come and look at the village manager. Ask me how I know. As a city manager, that's how I know. Business groups, charities, unions, and media. Public affairs practitioners engage stakeholders in order to explain organizational policies. Lobbying serves as an important function in politics by putting forward the views of stakeholders to policymakers, and the mayor and the manager have been robust in doing that. We cannot deny it. Public affairs work combines government relations, media communications, issue management, corporate and social responsibility, and a plethora of other things. That's public affairs. We're getting into the meat and potatoes of really what public affairs is. And that's what I intend to do. Working in public relations, press, the media relations, and crisis communication. Our representatives in both Congress and the state don't come over here once or twice a year for nothing. They come over here because they understand public affairs. With that said, everybody, with that said, this is my statement. And I'm starting, Mayor, I trust not to be too long, a transition whose time has come. The Village of El Portal Public Affairs Committee is transitioning toward addressing diverse interests in public policies. Therefore, some of the ways of projecting this transition requires active citizenry, participation as this village council continues to, number one, maintain strong relationships with neighbors, community affairs, business interests, establish relations with political advisors, and understand government regulations. 3, monitor, select local, state, and federal policy proceedings. 4, create relationships with surrounding community-based organizations and media outlets. And number 5, engage this community's influence in public policy. Thus, and as the newly appointed chair of the Village of Public Affairs Committee, I am pleased to report that while it is not a law, be aware that as of January 1, 2020, the Department of Labor assured employees who made less than $684 per week, the previous limit was $488 a week, are eligible for overtime when working more than 40 hours in a week. That information should have come from this village. The new weekly rate at that time amounted to $35,568 annually for full-time employees. It is this type of general information that I'm committed to presenting for benefit of building business and governmental relations. Also, and with a functional status code of A, that's us, El Portal identifies as an active government providing primary general purpose funding, and thanks to Mayor Nickerson and Village Manager Alou, this year the village amassed need-based grants for items directly related to police service. Did we not vote that? Yes, we did. Given this impetus, and now as chair of this committee in a city whose population last year measured 2,360 residents, I'm envisioning, with the help of knowing El Portal residents, other opportunities to amass similar local, state, and or federal government grant fundings. As we acknowledge on the slide, one of A, Miami-Dade County Septic Sewer Project. We can't get around it. B, increasing interest of businesses locating in El Portal. C, expanded residential livability as home affordability prices return to the norm. They will. Live long enough to know they will. And D, the quality of our natural environment remaining the hallmark of El Portal's reputable quaintness, which everybody, not except us that live here, we're trying to preserve that. And most people forget, that's our hallmark. We are very much a natural environment neighborhood. Thus, and anticipated is the Public Affairs Committee's continued search for both need-based and guaranteed access grants to fund and support economic development activities that assist micro, not macro, micro enterprises, with 3% of these grants being available to cover technical assistance and this village's administrative expenses. Yes, ma'am, I feel you. Every day I feel you. Thank you, Madam Manager. Even more, such grants help fund programs directed toward community facilities, outdoor recreational programs, and state-administered community development block grant programs. It's the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development that makes sure that happens. Therefore, and while this village's elected officials cannot assure these goals alone, we can't, I am asking and seriously encouraging villagers of El Portal to step forward and engage this effort with us to revive state and federal attention beneficial to El Portal's current and future vision, a vision toward the health and well-being of one of Miami-Dade's smallest and most promisingly progressive communities. It is this mass of energy that will complement that which we've already secured, the first being our love of shade trees, and second, not only the love of shade trees, but thanks to the village manager, they get attended to. They're maintained. Our tree canopy is actually maintained. Who does that? We do it. And second, our own neighborhood library and our book exchange. Thus, and added to this is intended, more neighbors transforming their front porch as a part of our existing neighborhood aesthetics. Number two, the potential for a mural arts program showcasing the several birds and other wildlife in this village. Villagers volunteering to work more closely with Phyllis Miller Elementary and Horseman Middle School and its Dr. Marvin Dunn Academy for Community Education. Notice, it's an academy for community education, and I'll include involvement because I know when it came about. And last but not least, an increased usage of phone apps such as Nextdoor and/or Citizen to enhance transparency and enable continuing technology in community policing and neighborhood safety. Continued engagement of the Women's Club and perhaps start a Men's Club, both remaining focused toward engaging everyone, especially children within the village, in specific holiday activities, as provided annually for the following activities: the Little River Cleanup, 4th of July, we've already named all of those. Finally, talk to your neighbors. We've been asking people to talk to their neighbors, and it's happening. Although this sounds simple, many of our neighbors don't do this enough. For in getting to know your neighbors generally opens access to more resources, information, and help. It is only when we begin to know one another that we become responsible to each other. And that can only happen when we talk with one another. In closing, and to my fellow members of the Village Council, thank you, Mayor Nicholson, for inviting me to engage a more robust public affairs initiative, an initiative having the potential to improve our village, its neighborhoods, and engage the preamble of this nation's Constitution to form a more perfect union. Herein, the village of El Portal. Thank you for listening to me. That's the direction, Mayor, that I'm intending to project in this village as its public affairs chairperson.
Madam Chair, if I may.
You may.
Thank you. I just want to say, first of all, thank you, Madam Chair, for those words. I really appreciate it. And I also, I'm excited and I'm energized about the direction that, you're taking the Public Affairs Committee. I'm on board 100%, whatever you need from me. You always have my support. You always have, my blood, sweat, and tears, for lack of a better term. I'm really excited, and you're taking the Public Affairs Committee, and you're bringing it to a professional level that we can all appreciate. So thank you very, very much, and I'm just in awe of you being able to take over this committee and being the head of this committee. Thank you very, very much, Madam Chair.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
May I suggest Arbor Day also needs to be included?
Arbor Day?
Yes, that's
We'll
so we can
place that.
remain Tree City, USA. if you guys, it's to the pleasure of the council.
Yes,
So noted. So noted.
Yeah, I was just gonna make the two suggestions, one of Arbor Day, because it is tied to our ability to maintain, Tree City USA. The other, is possibly having a line item just for PSAs. If we're gonna be, messaging the community, which I definitely think we should be, it would, not be a bad idea, I think, to have PSAs as its own line item
You
within.
talking public service announcements?
That's right, yep,
Okay,
yeah,
you got the medium?
whatever that looks like.
Yeah, you got the medium for that?
We've already passed, Madam Chair, if I may.
Okay,
We've already passed a text notification service. Myself, this week, myself and the village manager are going to be choosing, probably, what's tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll be choosing the notification service that will be going out to all residents. They'll be getting texts from now on, so, for information, so that.
I commend you both for your forward thinking. Thank you so much.
Well, and I just want to say, Madam Chair, if I may, when you first started out, I do want to thank all of you, because you mentioned myself and the village manager, but none of this stuff would be official if the council didn't vote for it.
That's right.
Myself and the village manager, we can do whatever we want to do. If you guys don't support us, none of this stuff becomes official, and it just all dies down. So we can't do any of this without you all. So it's a full team effort, you guys, and I just appreciate you all. And Madam Clerk will tell you, this is the best council I've been on, that we've been on, a part of. It's the best council we've been a part of. So we really appreciate all of you guys being. So thank you very much.
Any other comments, questions?
If I may, I do also just want to say kudos to you for pivoting in this direction. I do think that the occurrence now is to dumb everything down, but people can handle complexity, and they want real information that helps them make good decisions about how they live and how their families function. So I support you 100%, and you have my assistance as your, I think I'm the vice chair of this. Yes. So you have my assistance as vice chair, whatever you need. I've got a couple ideas. I'll float them past you, but kudos to you.
Thank you. And since my colleague has indicated saying we did not collaborate, this is the first time that we've ever exchanged anything. No other further comments? I don't think it needs a vote. We are just going in another direction. Our next item is good and welfare. For the benefit of those of you that know what the benefit for good and welfare, you're able to speak at this time. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. So moved.
I'll second.
The motion has been moved in second for an adjournment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are now adjourned at 8:15, is that right? Am I doing that right? At 8:15 p.m. Tuesday, July the 12th.
Great meeting,
Nice.
Madam Chair.
Awesome.